it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and I'm here again with some AJOS Abstract August tags. Still working on tags that already have paint on them. This one had some watercolor paint on it, so I went ahead and sealed it with some fluid matte medium before I started my project because I knew I was going to be putting other wet medium over the top. So the prompt that I'm doing right now for this one is cells. And there's this technique where you do wet acrylic layers and then you drip alcohol into it. This is 91% isopropyl alcohol. And you take your acrylic paint, you wet it down with water and then drip into it. And it makes these things that I think look like cells. They look like the cells, like these ones, well, maybe this first one's, the tag was bent, and so I got some kind of running, and they look maybe like cells that were merging or splitting or something. But usually you get a round drop with a ring around it when you do this. So I started out with this tag that had a lot of blues on it, and I decided I'd do the blue and teal type things, and then maybe throw in some purple or something. There was a little bit of purple. And so that's what I did. I am using DecoArt fluid media paints, which are a fluid paint and easier to blend up into a watery state because they're already fluid, but they're highly pigmented, so you really don't lose any pigment when you do it. And I'm using a flat brush, a 1-inch flat brush. And so I put some quinacridone violet on there. The first one was cobalt teal. And then now I have, is this cerulean blue? No, primary cyan blue that I'm putting on there. Same thing, mixing it with a wet brush with water. I'm not putting a ton of water, I'm just having the water in my brush. And then when I rinse off my brush, of course, it gets more water on it. So that one brought out a lot more of the teal because when you drip the alcohol ink of that alcohol, not ink, it's just alcohol, 91% isopropyl alcohol, then it reveals the layer underneath, basically. So then I decided to go with some complementary colors here. This one is dialoride yellow, which is kind of a warm yellow. So close to the orange yellow idea, or yellow orange color, which would be complementary. And then I brought in some orange as well, cadmium orange hue. And then I did also use some white eventually. So those are the 5 colors I used. And then I have no idea what color watercolors those were. I could just tell it was watercolor. So because of the texture, and I knew it was just going to be a big smeary mess if I didn't seal it. So that's like how I sealed it first before I started. You always have to wonder what's on your paper when you're starting with something that was made ages ago. You just have to, think about it a little. So I got a lot of cells here now, which I think look cool. A lot of different colors, some different layers. I've done this where I've maybe done like 10 layers of different colors, one on top of the other on top of the other, to make a background for something. Now I'm going to make something to go on the top because I didn't just want to leave it like that. It was definitely a background, an abstract background. So I just grabbed a scrap of text paper and I'm making some little circle things. A cell has a nucleus, so there's something in the middle. Then there's a lot of different layers. If you look at a human cell, or, well, any type of cell really, on a microscope, you see these rings of the different layers. You know what I mean. You've seen a biology book before, science book before, and what they look like. And I'm doing that, but with color. So I'm using the same colors again, the teal and the cyan and the orange and the dialoride yellow and some titanium white. And then you can see a little bit of the text peeking through, not a whole lot, because these are pretty opaque colors with the exception of the yellow. And just making this circle-y motif with a nucleus in the center, which is white. Just to have something to put on there and make it more interesting. This one turned out really cool when it was done. I liked it. I still like it. So that's all acrylic paint. There's a little bit of the white. I'm going to cut these out and attach them to the tag. I don't know how long I'm going to keep doing these abstracts on tags, I guess until I run out of tags that are painty. I don't know how many I even have. I know there's a lot. So it might be the whole month. I'm sure it's going to get boring though, so I probably should move on to some other substrates. So then I just took some watery titanium white and made kind of a stripe down the side to make something vertical to give this tag a little bit of composition. And then between each layer I dried, by the way. I didn't want anything to mix together, so each time I finished a color with the drips, then I dried that off and evaporated the alcohol and dried the water out of it so that the next color I put on wouldn't mix in with the one underneath. Because, of course, acrylic paint dries down to permanent, so you don't have to worry about it reactivating when you're going over the top with something else, which is nice. So now I have my little cutout piece, and it's a little wonky, it's a little cool, I like it, I just like it. So I'm just gluing that down with some Yoo-Hoo glue stick. So Abstract August is an event brought to you by Art Joy of Sharing Facebook group. There's a link below the video that you can ask to join. Make sure that you answer the questions that pop up because we can't accept you if we don't see that you've responded to the questions, because if somebody applies that is a bot, then they wouldn't answer the questions. So make sure that you answer the questions if you ask to join. There's been a few people lately who haven't, and it's just we just can't have to keep the bots out because they're annoying. So I put some extra leftover orange and yellow paint into some other little circles to kind of finish my collection. And then this is a fine liner, which is a bottle that you buy empty, and I filled it up with fluid black acrylic paint. It's fun to use instead of a pen sometimes because you get a more organic painterly effect with it because you can't control it as much. It has a long needle nose and it's hard to control it, so you get more free-flowing marks when you use it. Then I also used the same type of a bottle, only with white. Went around the edges with some black to kind of close in the tag. You know, I like to do that. I like to have edges around things. And then I just added a couple pieces of colored jute twine to the top, and I was done with this one, which was the prompt cells. I did post the prompt sheet up at the top. Also, if you guys want to not join the group but just play along, you can post anywhere on social media with the hashtag AJOS Abstract August, and we'll be able to find it. You know, Instagram, whatever, Snapchat, whatever you want to post it out on, Twitter. So there's that one, cells. I really like it. So the next one in the list was circle. You don't have to go by the list if you don't want to do the prompts in order. I did, the first one I did was out of order, but then everyone else in the group were just doing them in order. And I thought, well, I guess I should just do that too, so that there's a comparison, I guess. I'm not sure why. So I started to do them in order. And then when I get to number 25, I'll just skip on because that's the first one I did, which was rectangle. And so, yeah, that's what I'm doing. This tag had a lot of paint on it. It was ugly. So I decided to completely cover it. I've been hoarding this gel print image from I guess that would be like a 3x5 gel plate. And I don't know when I made it, but I know that it's made with a Stencil Girl stencil called Spoked Wheel Collage, which is one of my favorites. It's a 6x6 that I have. S709 if you want to purchase it. And this is on black text weight paper. And it has a little bit of orange, a little bit of yellow, and then this titanium white. And it's just a really cool print. And I've had it for a while, and I just haven't used it because it's so cool. But the prompt that I'm doing is circles, and this is definitely circles. So I decided to use it over this ugly tag. And then it's not quite as large as the tag, so I went ahead and messed around with that concept. And what I did was I finished out the bottom of the tag with black gesso. And this is the golden gesso. It dries down really matte, so it goes really well with this. And then I filled in some of the side areas as well with the black so that I can make something that looks cohesive. So I'm just using a small brush and some nice black gesso from Golden. It's a really good black gesso. The other black gesso I have is from Liquitex, and it has a texture to it, like it has sand in it, kind of. It's crunchy, and I really prefer this one. I didn't buy a new thing of gesso until I saw someone talking about this one, and I thought, well, I'll try it. Because, you know, the Golden products can be a little bit expensive. But they're professional grade. So then I went and got the stencil off my rack, and I have a white pencil. This is a charcoal pencil. I don't know how you get white charcoal. That's still a mystery to me. Charcoal is black. I don't know how you get white charcoal. But anyway, this is a charcoal pencil that's mixed with oil, and it's from Jerry's Artorama. It's a jumbo pencil. Pretty cool, fun thing. So I laid the stencil over, and then I drew in some of the shapes by tracing around the stencil over the black gesso. And now it appears as if the pattern, the design, is going all the way down, which of course was my intention. And it also filled in some of the areas where it was cut off at the bottom. And actually looked pretty cool. I did end up putting some more layers on it though, so I kind of almost felt like I should just leave it. It looked cool. I liked it, but then I thought, oh, it's not really finished until, I mean, it just looks like a background until you put something else on it. So I did. Doesn't it look cool? It's like part of them are drawn and part of them are stenciled, and it just looks, I like the way it looks. I could have even filled in maybe a couple more of those smaller ones with black and then drew around them like that. It would have been cool. But I just really, I really dig this gel print. So maybe that's why I think it's so cool. But I like the contrast between the drawn black and white and the stencil black and white. I think it's just neat. I kind of felt like it should just stay like that and be done. But then I decided that I would maybe change it up a little bit. I colored in a few of the triangles. This reminds me of citrus fruit, like a slice of an orange or something. It's wheels, and it can be wheels, of course. It looks like wheels, but to me it looks like fruit. Maybe I'm just hungry. Maybe I just want an orange. Maybe that's what it is. But it always has reminded me of slices of citrus fruit. So then I decided I would add a focal point-ish area. So I decided to use some stamps. This is a Stampin' Up! Set from a long time ago. It's probably discontinued, but you can probably find it on eBay. So I'll put the name of it down below and try to find a link for you if you really like it. It can do a lot of things. It's just shapes, but then it has the outlines of the shapes as well. So I decided to take this orange piece and then stamp on it with some orange blossom ink with this solid stamp, and then go over with the open stamp with the black, and then you have kind of the black and orange like the tag is. I actually think that this tag might end up turning into something for Halloween because of the colors. I think I could just put it like a little witch's hat or a little black cat or something on it, and it would be a really cute Halloween something to send to somebody. So that might happen. It could happen. So I tore my little piece and I tore part of the circle off, but I really wasn't that worried about it because I planned to layer another something yellow on there because of the yellow and orange in the background. So I got this yellow piece out, tore it down, and then I put that in the other one and they overlap and it just looks kind of cool. It draws your eye down the tag to that area. So I glued those on with Yoo-Hoo glue stick. This glue starts out blue and then goes clear when it's dry. So it's a cool, and it's very, very sturdy. The stuff doesn't come off with it. I've been very, very happy with it. So I've always done matte medium for so long, but for little things like this in my journal, I don't think that I need to, be so hardcore with the matte medium. I can just glue these things on and it's been working really well. So then I brought the line stamp back out again and stamped a little bit more, filled back in the circles. And then I put on some paint with my fingers because sometimes your fingers are just your best tool, right? It can be. I used the cadmium orange that was still on my desk from the previous tag and also some white, and these are still the DecoArt fluid media paints. So I hope you guys are enjoying this video and this series. If you are, please remember to give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below. You can also ask a question. You can come and join Art Joy of Sharing art community over on Facebook, and you can pin this to Pinterest. I made a Pinterest board with all my abstract August projects thus far, and you could make one too, or look at mine and repin them if you want to. That's fine too. All my social media links are there in the corner of the video. You can click on that and it'll open up a link tree thing that has all my social media. So then to finish this one off, I used a piece of orange grow grain ribbon and then a piece of yellow embroidery floss. It's cheap embroidery floss from the dollar store. And I just tied that around and I thought I was done. And then I decided, nope, I'm really not done. I need some black. So I went back to my drawer of fibers and I found this really cute black sparkly ribbon with, it's orange ribbon, then it has some sort of sparkly stuff sewn onto it. It doesn't come off the ribbon, so it's not glitter. I don't know what it is, but anyway. It's cool. So I tied that on too. And this one was done for circle. This is my circle tag. Pretty happy with it. Probably will put something Halloween-y on it eventually, just like right above the strip, some kind of small thing right above the strip, and call it good. So that's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.